Achromatopsia PSA.
Section 1. What is achromatopsia?
Achromatopsia is a genetic disease that is the absence of partial or total color vision. In simpler terms, achromatopsia is color blindness. In the partial form, people with this disease only see certain colors but not every color. With complete achromatopsia, people cannot see any color at all and can only see shades of gray, white, and black. You might wonder, how does it take away the ability to see color? Someone with achromatopsia is born with non-functioning cones. The cones are special photoreceptors in the retina that absorb different color lights. There are 3 cones that are responsible for normal color vision. These are the red cones, the green cones, and the blue cones. A balanced distribution of these cells is necessary for normal color vision. A person born with non-functioning cones will have achromatopsia. Mutations in the following genes are known to cause achromatopsia: ATF6, CNGA3, CNGB3, GNAT2, PDE6C, and PDE6H. But the main genes are CNGA3 and CNGB3 that cause achromatopsia in most people.
Section 2. How does someone get achromatopsia?
Achromatopsia is an autosomal recessive disorder that is passed from parents to offspring. The following are a few characteristics an autosomal recessive disorder will have. Males and females are equally likely to have the trait. The traits can often skip generations. Often both parents of offspring who have the trait are heterozygotes, which means each parent has at least one copy of the allele. Only homozygous individuals will express the trait. Traits can appear in siblings without being in their parents. And people who didn't express the trait are heterozygotes, which means they are carriers of the trait. The image on the screen is a pedigree of an autosomal recessive disorder. That is how the characteristics would look displayed in a family pedigree. This autosomal recessive pedigree could show achromatopsia or many other diseases. That means people get achromatopsia by inheriting one allele of the mutated gene from each of their parents. Both parents would need to be a carrier or have the disease for it to be passed down onto the offspring. For example, if the genotype for normal vision or not having achromatopsia was A, to have achromatopsia, someone would need the genotype a. To inherit, your parents would both need the genotypes A, or a. To be a carrier, someone would need A. Even if it's partial achromatopsia or complete achromatopsia, you must have both recessive genes for the trait to show.
Section 3. Specifics of why the mutation happens.
Achromatopsia can result from one of several genes, but scientists also have concluded that other factors and genes could cause this disease that are not yet identified. One base pair frameshift deletion mutation accounts for around 70% of the mutations that cause achromatopsia. Frameshift deletion mutations are mutations where one or more bases are deleted and cause the rest of the bases to move down and create an entirely different sequence. But missense and nonsense mutations have also been reported in people with achromatopsia. A missense mutation is a mutation that changes from one amino acid to another amino acid. A nonsense mutation is a mutation where a single base is changed to a stop codon, ending the sequence. This would interfere with the codons in the amino acid being made. This would cause most amino acids to be different or have a much shorter sequence. Those changes would create a completely wrong protein that would not fold right. A protein like this would not be able to do what it's supposed to do. The mutation would lead to a misshapen protein and non-functional cones in the eyes, which cause achromatopsia.
Section 4, Physical Limitations/Symptoms and Quality of Life.
Some symptoms of achromatopsia are partial or total color blindness, reduced visual acuity, which means sharpness of vision, sensitivity to bright light, and shaking eyes. The main physical limitation of achromatopsia is color blindness, stated earlier. Achromatopsia directly has no effect on an individual's lifespan or overall health. A person with achromatopsia will face many challenges involving color and differentiating between them. But typically, achromatopsia doesn't have much of an effect on overall body or lifespan besides color blindness and sensitivity to bright lights, as stated previously.
Section number 5, Treatments and Interesting Facts.
Currently, there are no permanent treatments or cures for people with achromatopsia, but there are things people can wear to still see some or all color. Certain glasses and spectacles can help people with achromatopsia be able to see color. Although this technology works in many cases, it does not work in some, and it only helps people to a certain extent see color. Companies like Enchroma and Pilestone help make glasses like this to help people. There is no way to prevent an offspring from getting achromatopsia at birth, because it is purely hereditary. But they can potentially see color later in life by buying color vision glasses. Achromatopsia has infected an estimated 1 in 30,000 people worldwide. Complete achromatopsia happens most frequently among Pingelapese Islanders. 4 in 10 people have achromatopsia on their island. The island was even nicknamed Colorblind Island. The majority of the population of this atoll is colorblind and sees the world far more different than people with normal color vision. Mira GTX is a gene therapy company dedicated to finding potential genetic therapies for serious diseases. Currently, they're conducting investigations for gene therapies for people with inherited retina diseases. One of these diseases is achromatopsia that they are trying to find a cure for. So potentially in the near future, achromatopsia can have a cure and finally not to be in genes anymore.
So, how many people do you see with achromatopsia usually?
So we typically don't see a whole lot of patients with the chromatopsia. A lot of times they're diagnosed before they come to our clinic. So I would say I don't recall seeing one. We do have, just depending on the profession, like pilots and some military personnel, they have to have a certain type of testing to confirm that they don't have a chromatopsia so they can continue in their roles, just depending on their profession.
So, how does your clinic usually find out if someone has achromatopsia?
Typically, they aren't able to differentiate some things like red lights, the UPS truck, even though it's brown. And sometimes typically like the reds they have a different degree of brightness of colors and they compare it to other persons. And sometimes they fail the color vision testing that we do in the office. Typically we do it's called an Ishihara color plate. And if it's more in depth, you may have seen the Farnsworth D15, which is, you kind of like align these, looks like some little cylinders that have like the different colors, and you would line them up. And then you kind of plot them. It looks like a little graph, and then you can determine if they really have a chromatopsia.